Hey everyone, it's No Clue, and this is my first racing mower update. This is going to be more of an overview of what I've got done so far than an actual update, because I'm kind of starting this in the middle, or not really the middle. It's more near the beginning because of how long I take to do everything. I usually shoot for near perfection. So right now I got about a week's worth of work into everything, and if you take a look at it right here. This is what I got going on so far. It's the rear fenders came off an MTD. So did the front tires. Oh, stupid phone focus. There you go. And this hood, or the nose cone here, is an Alice Chalmers model CA nose cone. I believe it's CA because it's got this hole cut in the middle. You can see right through the floor with that. And that's for the narrow front tires. But I'm gonna patch that in. You can see the green tape on here. This green tape is that metal is being removed because this metal here, or the nose cone, is too wide for my tires to turn. So I gotta take about 2.5 inches off that, and I gotta set this nose cone back about 1 more inch. If I can set it back 1 more inch, I can use these holes on the side here to and weld upright supports on this front axle that come up, and bolt the nose cone on like that. And I might get some rubber bushings for that or something that'll hold her in place and not make a whole bunch of noise. I gotta see how loud it's gonna be first. But I gotta take about 2.5 inches off that, and then just to keep the proportions right, I gotta cut 2.5 inches off the side, which I'm perfectly fine with, because that also gives me some extra material here to patch some of these holes, like this hole down in here. I'm gonna take the metal off of this side. You can see what's left of it. I had to cut some of it out already to get this sit back a little better. But this metal on this side, I'm gonna cut it out. I'm gonna rotate it, and I'm going to weld it in right here, like I'm putting a patch panel in a car. And that's actually how I'm going to reattach everything onto here, is through a patch panel setup. And the way it's all getting bolted back together, if any of the patch panel, like the welds, do break, the nose cone won't fall off. Because you can see here, this tape, oh, tire's in the way. The tape is actually, there's a hole on this side of the tape. You can see where my finger's hitting. And then there's a hole on this side of the tape. I plan on using almost all the bolt holes here. So let's say for some reason this weld wasn't as strong as I thought it was and it were to crack, then it would still be held on by here and the weld down in front. So that's just in case for any reason, because I am no master at body work. So it's just more of a safety aspect. And speaking of safety aspects, the motor that's going to go on here, just use your imagination. There's a motor right there. It's invisible though. It's I'm going to be trying to use a Predator 212cc motor from Harbor Freight, and by using one of those motors, it's got a little bit more cc than a box stock motor. So that means it's that means it's got a little bit more torque off the beginning of it, and I like a little extra torque. And it's going to be getting all the standard safety upgrades that I believe is necessary to run one of these without a governor, which is going to be an aluminum flywheel and a billet connecting rod. I am going to oversize the connecting rod on it though, because just to get a little bit more compression out of it, when I do buy the connecting rod, I'm going to double check to make sure I have proper head spacing on it though, so I don't send the piston through the cylinder head and wreck everything. So I'm going to build this motor up. It is going to take me a while to build it up, but right now I'm more worried about getting the motor there from mock-up, so I can build the frame while I'm waiting to get a little extra cash to throw at the motor. Then I can throw it at the motor and then build it up gradually over time. But back to the frame here. It's most of the parts did originate from an MTD, and the original MTD, you can see a video earlier. It was posted on my channel a while ago. It was an MTD. I can't think of what it was. It had originally it had like an 18 horse engine on it, and when I found it, it was just a bunch of scrap metal. I built that up using spare parts from other MTDs laying around it, and that's why that wheel on this side is white and that wheel on the other side is gray. So I am going to have to find front rims for it anyway, so I'm not worried about it. I can find the same rim size just about anywhere, and by doing that I can get high-speed bearings for the front instead of these little nylon bushings that are in there right now. I don't like the nylon bushings. They'll wear themselves out way too fast. But if you look at the rear end here, it's got a pretty beefy setup. It's got I got welds on these flanges that run along the bottom here. And I got a weld. You can't really see it because of this 1-inch pipe here that runs up along there. And so I know those flanges aren't going anywhere. I got these 1-inch spacers here because I was originally going to have these flanges butt up right against this top tube here, and that was my first mistake, because then with the 9-inch brake rotor I had, I would have to cut almost all the way through the rear end of this frame. So it was easier for me to take this 1-inch box and shove it in there. I am going to make like a little gusset or something, or a cap for this or something, just to make it not look so cheesy. And it's because I've been kind of trying to gusset everything to make it stronger and give it more of a little bit of a finished look, just to kind of make people ask where I bought it from, and I'll just tell them I built it. And you can see here one of my uglier welds. I had a huge hole to fill in here. I actually had another hole to fill in over there, but that's not as an ugly weld. So yeah, like these welds are getting ground down. The better looking ones, like this one down here, which isn't super pretty, but that might get ground down a little bit. But yeah, most of the welds that'll be clearly visible will get ground down and reinforced again, and then ground down again, just to ensure that they won't break. But yeah, this is really all I have so far done to it. And like, if you notice in my future updates that this nose cone has shrunk, don't worry about it. I will show you guys what I did to it. It's just I'm going to do all the body work at once. Like, I'm going to shrink that down, fix these fender flares here, because you can see it's just kind of sitting on top of the tire. I'm going to extend this metal up over here, kind of flatten it out, and then bring it back in, and then kind of have it wrap back down. And maybe fill in these tail lights here, or I'm either going to fill those in or put tail lights on. I got to figure out whether that Predator has a 12-volt source on it or not. I'm going with no, but if it does, then I can put tail lights on it and headlights, because I think that'd just be a cool little feature. And then this old hydrostatic shift lever here is got to go. There's no way I'm going to let rocks come and fly through there and hit me while I'm driving this thing at 45, 50 miles an hour. So, yeah, I got that. And for my gearing ratio, depending on where I set my sprocket, over by the welder, makes sense. This is a 32-tooth sprocket. I was thinking about going with 36, but since I got bigger tires, I'm going to probably need the little extra low on torque. And if not, these sprockets are cheap enough for me to keep a couple of them laying around in case I want to tune the thing like that. But yeah, the sprocket's gonna, from what I understand about these torque converters, the sprocket's probably gonna sit in right about there. Then it's gonna get locking collars all around it. Maybe I'll buy a couple axle stiffeners to put in between there and use them more for spacers than to actually stiffen the axle, so I don't have anything sliding around on me while I'm trying to drive. And let's see if I can find where I dropped that 9-inch brake rotor at. There's a caliper over here. Here's what's left of my 16-gauge box deal. I got about 8 feet of that left, which I'm going to definitely have to pick up more as soon as I start fabricating. So, oh, there it is. Here we go. Got this brake rotor here. Got the rotor for almost nothing, but the cost of this hub kind of set it over more than what I could buy just a brake rotor with a built-in flange on it. But that flange didn't have these drilled holes here, and these drill holes will actually increase cooling, although it's pretty thick. Well, it's pretty thick metal, as far as the rotor's concerned. So yeah, I'd like to have that little extra cooling property to it, and it also looks a little cooler, and that's going to be going on this other side here. But I'm waiting to get my my sprocket mounted before I get my brakes mounted, because that was my one mistake on my other MTD chassis when I started to modify that. I got the brakes done first before I got the drivetrain set up, so I had clearance issues with that, and that made it very hard to finish. And yeah, see right here, back to the bodywork thing, I gotta pound this dent out, maybe fill it in, but yeah, I got a lot of bodywork to do on this, especially since I'm making my own custom hood for it, because I could buy an Alice Chalmers hood that would run almost the full length of this chassis, but I figured it'd be easier, and since I got to cut this down anyways, just easier to take a piece of 20 gauge steel or something like that and drape it over the top here, and maybe I'll weld it together and fill it all in and make it one piece, because I think that'd look pretty neat. Yeah, this thing's going to have a lot of work done to it. It's going to look really sweet when it's done. I'm kind of excited for it. And right now, main holdback is this motor, because as soon as I get this motor in, I can find out where it's going. I'm debating on whether putting it far back or far forward, because if I do far back, I could have less chain on it, which is less links to brake. Or I can do it far forward, get more of the weight forward, and I could rip some pretty decent donuts with it. But as much power as I'm planning on producing out of this little Predator engine, it's not too likely that I won't have an issue ripping donuts no matter what. But the plan is for my running boards here, it's going to be custom built Nerf bars. I'm going to have 2 bars running along this frame underneath it that weld up into it. That'll let the motor sit a little bit lower in the chassis for a lower center of gravity. Although it won't make too big of a difference, but it's still there. And why I'm waiting is because my from where I'm guessing, I'm gonna have a bar running across where about this metal meets up, maybe a little bit before, so I can weld a tab to support these old bolt holes here. And I'm gonna have another bar running from like maybe right here with a shallow angle going back to kind of get rid of the hard edges, because I don't like hard edges. So and by doing that, I'm gonna have a bar all the way back here that I'm gonna have to clear with my torque converter and everything. But yeah, if I do have clearance issues, I'll just take more box steel and I'll weld it up along the bottom here, and that'll also give me a lot more reinforcement, and then not have the bar go across. But like I said, I'm waiting on that motor. Some main drawback here, and if you haven't noticed yet, I am recording on a cell phone. That'll get replaced within a month or so. So I'd probably get like 4 updates out with this little cell phone here before I can afford a. Ooh, look at that, a little tire shark there trying to poke a hole in my tire. But yeah, I'll get that updated relatively soon here to an actual camcorder. Throw that in the trash. And actually get some nicer quality videos out that aren't all shaky. Although I've recorded some videos for some of my friends. They say my freehand isn't too bad, but when I'm walking around and stuff, it tends to shake a little bit. Yeah, that was the first mower update. It's more of a catching up than actually recording and building and stuff. And it's kind of hard to build with the cell phone in your hand anyhow. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'll catch you guys next time.